good afternoon. In reflection of this week, I think I'm going to talk about our conversation we had yesterday regarding projection of religion, or promoting religion and promoting bias, and whether or not guns are something that should be utilized in order to ensure student safety. But before I begin, I think it's important to, let me back up. I was thinking about our conversations yesterday, and it got me thinking about why it's so difficult to come up with a determination about the appropriate action. And what I kind of came up with was the fact that no matter what we do, no matter what we're arguing for or arguing against, it's so difficult to eliminate personal bias. Particularly when we're talking about whether or not we should have guns in school, it was apparent or evident real fast that there's a real kind of delineation from those who think it's okay or not at all. Very few of us were on the fence about it, and I think it has a lot to do with our personal opinions, our personal bias about guns and what we believe about guns. And I think that's what makes the argument so difficult to articulate, because it's so difficult for us to pull out bias. I know for me, I have a concealed permit. I have for quite a few years now. I regularly use firearms, so I'm comfortable and I understand my level of safety is based on my experience with it. But I also understand how that lack of experience contributes to fear or anxiety. So I get both sides of it, but to have a educated argument about whether or not we should, I think the only way we can do that is without bias, and I don't know if that is even possible. So that's the difficulty for me, is right or wrong, whether in favor or not, we have to do what's best for the student. I mean, obviously that's our ultimate job, is to do what's best for the student, but can we determine proper course of action, bias aside? And I don't have the answer for that. And I mean, as we move forward, I think that's kind of the issue we deal with as being teachers, is that we have to be very rigid with respect to our actions, but we cannot lose who we are. And so going forward, that's kind of what I'm playing around with, is how do you develop an opinion? How do you develop thoughts on appropriate action without integrating bias? So have a good weekend.